The Hey Eddie podcast is brought to you by... Hello, parents. I'm Coach Winksworth from Piggy Paddle Swim School. Recently, 2,000 pigs ran straight into a lake. 2,000! And guess what? Not one of them knew how to swim. This could have been prevented.
It just started raining and couldn't stop. My friends were running, and I was like, wait! And then I was like, wait, that's water!
Don't let this happen to your pig. At Piggy Paddle Swim School, we teach important skills like floating, not following your friend off a cliff, and saying, maybe I should stop running.
I wish I had taken the class.
Piggy Paddle Swim School, because when 2,000 of your friends jump into a lake, you should probably know how to swim. This is the Hey Eddie podcast. I'm your host, Cousin Michael. The Hey Eddie podcast is dedicated to helping kids like my cool cousin Eddie learn about the Bible and learn important lessons about God, about Jesus, and about life. The Bible is indeed God's gift to kids, a lamp to our feet and a light to our path. On today's episode of the Hey Eddie podcast, we're going to be studying Mark chapter 5, verses 1 through 20, in a lesson titled, The Man Nobody Could Stop. This lesson will teach us that no one is too far gone for Jesus. He has the power to rescue anyone from anything. Our key memory verse is Mark chapter 5, verse 19. Go home to your own people and tell them how much the Lord has done for you and how he has had mercy on you. Hey Eddie, have you ever seen a superhero movie where the villain is so powerful that nothing can stop him? Chains, he breaks them. Walls, he smashes through them. Armies, he defeats them all. And you're sitting there thinking, who could possibly stop this guy? Well, in today's story, there's a man like that. He was so strong that no one could control him. Not chains, not handcuffs, not anything. But here's the twist. He wasn't a villain. He was a victim, a man being tortured by evil spirits. And he was about to meet the one person more powerful than all the demons inside him. Ready? This is one wild story. Let's go. Remember the storm from last time? Jesus calmed the wind and waves with just a word, and the disciples asked, "Who is this guy?" Well, they finally made it across the Sea of Galilee to the other side, to a region called the Gerasenes. Now, this was Gentile territory. That means it wasn't a Jewish area. From a Jewish point of view, this place was unclean. They even had pigs there, animals that Jews weren't allowed to eat or even touch. But Jesus went there anyway, because God's kingdom doesn't stop at borders. Jesus came to rescue people everywhere. And as soon as Jesus stepped out of the boat, a man came running at him from the tombs. Yes, the tombs. This guy lived in a graveyard, among the dead bodies and the burial caves. That's where he slept. That's where he wandered, day and night. And he was terrifying. The Bible says people had tried to chain him up, hand and foot, but he broke the chains. He snapped the irons like they were nothing. No one was strong enough to control him. Night and day he would scream and shriek among the tombs and in the hills, and he would cut himself with sharp stones, gashing his own body. Can you imagine how sad and scary that is? This man was completely out of control. He was being destroyed from the inside out. He had no home, no family, no friends. He lived alone with the dead, howling in pain, hurting himself because of the evil inside him. And now he was running straight at Jesus. When the man saw Jesus from a distance, he ran and fell on his knees in front of him. But then he shouted at the top of his voice, "What do you want with me, Jesus, Son of the Most High God? In God's name, don't torture me." Wait, how did this man know who Jesus was? He had never met him before. It wasn't the man talking. It was the demons inside him. See, evil spirits always recognize Jesus. They know exactly who he is, the Son of God, the one with power over everything, and they're terrified of him. Jesus had already commanded the evil spirit to come out of the man. But before obeying, the demons tried to stall. They tried to make deals. They begged. Jesus asked, "What is your name?" And the demon answered, "My name is Legion, for we are many." A Roman legion was a group of about 5,000 soldiers. This man wasn't possessed by one demon, he was possessed by thousands. An entire army of evil spirits was living inside of him. No wonder no one could control him. The demons begged Jesus not to send them out of the area. Then they saw a huge herd of pigs feeding on the hillside, about 2,000 pigs. They begged, "Send us into the pigs, let us go into them." And Jesus gave them permission. The evil spirits came out of the man and went into the pigs. And immediately the whole herd went crazy. They stampeded down the steep bank and rushed into the lake and drowned. 2,000 pigs, gone, just like that. The demons that had tortured this man for years couldn't even control a bunch of pigs for 5 minutes. They destroyed everything they touched. That's what evil does. It destroys. But Jesus rescues. The people who had been taking care of the pigs ran into town and told everyone what happened. And a huge crowd came out to see for themselves. And what did they find? They found the man, the one who had been screaming and breaking chains and cutting himself with stones. He was now sitting there, dressed and in his right mind. He was calm, he was clothed, he was sane. The wild man was healed. But here's the weird part. The people weren't happy. They were afraid. They saw the man who had terrorized their region for years now completely transformed. They saw the pigs drowned in the lake. And instead of celebrating, they begged Jesus to leave. "Please go away. We don't want you here." Can you believe that? They were more upset about losing their pigs than they were happy about a man being saved. As Jesus was getting back into the boat, the healed man begged to come with him. He wanted to follow Jesus, to be one of his disciples. But Jesus said no. Wait, what? Jesus said no? Yep. But not because he didn't want the man. Jesus had a different mission for him. Jesus said, "Go home to your own people and tell them how much the Lord has done for you and how he has had mercy on you." So the man went away and began to tell everyone in a region called the Decapolis, that's an area with 10 cities, how much Jesus had done for him. And everyone was amazed. This man, who had been an outcast, a wild man living in a graveyard, was now a missionary, the first person to share the good news about Jesus in Gentile territory. So what does this mean for you? First, no one is too far gone for Jesus. This man was possessed by thousands of demons. He lived in a graveyard. He was completely out of control. And Jesus set him free with a word. There is no person and no situation that is too hard for Jesus. Second, evil destroys. Jesus rescues. The demons made this man hurt himself, scream, and live alone among the dead. That's what evil does. It tears you apart. But Jesus brought peace, healing, and a new life. That's what Jesus does. He puts you back together. Third, some people would rather keep their pigs than receive Jesus. The townspeople asked Jesus to leave because his power scared them and his presence cost them something. Don't be like them. Don't let fear or comfort keep you from following Jesus. Fourth, you don't have to go far to share Jesus. The man wanted to travel with Jesus, but Jesus sent him home. Sometimes the best place to share what God has done for you is right where you live, with your family, your friends, your neighbors. Fifth, your story matters. This man's transformation became his testimony. When you tell people what Jesus has done for you, it's powerful. You don't need a theology degree. You just need to say, "Let me tell you what Jesus did for me." So remember the man nobody could stop except Jesus. And remember, the same Jesus who set him free is with you. This has been the Hey Eddie Podcast. I'm your host, Cousin Michael. Remember that the Hey Eddie Podcast is dedicated to studying the Bible and learning important lessons about God, about Jesus, and about life. Today we discussed Mark chapter 5, verses 1 through 20. Tune in soon for another episode of the Hey Eddie Podcast, where we'll study Mark chapter 5, verses 21 through 43. Love you, Eddie.